Welcome to the Challenge Chronicles. I am Devin Jordan. I am with Trace Armstrong and Rob McIntyre. We are here to talk about episode 6 of Spies, Lies, and Allies. Welcome to Rock Bottom because this is what it feels like. Holy hell on earth. What did we just watch?
Something that was worse than the Zach and Jenna Total Madness episode,
let's
and I thought we
not
couldn't
go.
get lower.
No, dude. If it wasn't for those last, I counted it. Guess how long the actual drama was in airtime? Guess how long?
I really don't think that long.
It was 6 minutes. If
Yeah.
it was not, if those 6 minutes were not included, I don't even think it would be a conversation that this is by far one of the worst episodes ever. Like, not even close.
I think you can say it is one of. If we're going to actually power rank it, that's a very dismal show.
I would rather go back and rewatch Battle of the Sexes 1 in its entirety than this episode ever again.
It was, yeah.
See, there were multiple times where I thought to myself, and I wrote down in my notes, "What am I doing with my life?" It was that bad.
I guess we can just start from the beginning with this. So we got this Nany Kaycee.
No, Rob. Let's start with the big beats. Come on. We're not.
Well,
if
we already started sandbagging it, I thought we were all right. Fine, we can
Let's
just
start from the bottom and
Josh
taper. Let's just start off slow and taper off. That's all we.
We don't want to pull people. We don't want to give people a root canal for the next X number of minutes until we talk about Fessy and Josh. Let's just talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
We think Fessy's probably going home. Right?
Fessy's going home, and Esther maybe too.
You think Esther too? I don't think
possible.
Esther too.
It's possible.
People throw drinks on each other all the time.
Because
they haven't done that in a long time, though.
Why do you think Josh reacted the way that he did when they showed him crying in the previews?
It's probably because Fessy goes home and he feels bad.
I don't know, dude. Those guys hate each other. He hates Fessy right now.
No, they don't hate each other.
No, they still hang out now.
They were on vacation together. They're fine.
I know, but I'm saying in the moment. I'm not saying now. I'm saying
even the next morning. I think he just feels bad. I think the reason why he's so emotional is because it is Fessy.
I think it's possible, but I think it could be. I wouldn't be surprised if more than one person goes home out of this. Because my next question was going to be something that I was going to bring up is, do you think anything more happens that we didn't see? Or do you think we saw the peak of the confrontation? Because I think
in terms of physical contact, Fessy pushes Josh, and then he does the face smush, right?
He does the face smush, yes.
Yeah, the thing is, we do have a precedent for somebody getting sent home for that, because it's basically what Nelson did to Derek on Dirty 30, and then he was sent home the next episode.
That's what it was? It was a face smush? I don't even remember. Really?
It wasn't a punch, it wasn't a slap, it was really a hard face smush, that's it.
Yeah, so I think he's gone.
I think he's gone too.
Especially because I seem like they've been trying to get stricter with physical contact. I would be surprised and also just the way they set up the episode. If they ever set it up like this, they're almost always going on.
Yeah.
Can't they just give us this in one fucking episode? Give us all of it. You're gonna string us along for another episode of this?
I mean, that's what boggles my mind here, because we got literally 20 minutes of pointless content before we even got to the daily. It was awful.
Oh my god.
I mean, I get that they've done dates before, Mike
and Paula. It seems how produced was this? Where's she getting these flowers from?
Dude, in my notes,
production went and got them for her.
I wrote down, is this what watching The Bachelor is like? Is that what I'm watching now?
No, The Bachelor's much more fun than this. The Bachelor's got people who are zany and eccentric and stuff. The whole house is clapping too as they're on the date. It's just a very weird, it was very odd, right?
It was all very staged by production, because there's no way they had chocolate-covered strawberries in the house.
Yeah, what's going on with this?
Kaycee went to production and said, "I want to do this," and they're like, "Cool, we'll film it."
Dude, that's what was going on with the whole Emmy narrative this episode? What the fuck? I think it's great and all. She seems like a great person.
I took it as she's going home. I mean, but then we didn't get an elimination.
Well, the thing is weird too. They've had times where they promoted somebody as off camera work before. Remember when on Final Reckoning, there's the episode where Jose and Shane have that big fight because Shane throws the mission when he should have thrown the mission when they were on the same team together. And they played Jose's rap single in the background of the fight. It was actually pretty funny. You can do that with her song. That's so much funnier, so much clever way to put it in. It was just. I'm somebody who obeys logic and reason and tries to go by the facts of the situation. So maybe for me, when somebody who's clearly such an emotional decision maker like Emmy is, I don't connect with some of the narrative there.
And I don't either, because we also got 5 minutes of them dressing her for the club night. Like, I'm sitting
and
here
then we
going,
got,
why am I
dude,
watching this? Why
she
am I
was like
watching this?
she was on the screen like the whole episode, because then we got at the top of the episode, we got the whole dialogue with her and CT, right? Her talking about how she really respects CT and sees him almost as an uncle. Then we got
An uncle
the
whose junk
conversation.
she checked out, by the way. That was the funniest part of the whole episode, was she did this quick eye cut down and back up, and I was like, yeah,
They're having a lot of fun with CT being attractive this season.
That should be the title of this episode. An uncle
checking
whose junk she
CT's
checked
junk.
out.
The title is actually
Junk she
Alien,
checked out.
so they're really like she must have like had something in her contract. Like I honestly want to like maybe that's going to a step too far.
No, I don't think.
But
you're
do you
too
think
far
that
off
is that out of the range of possibility that she has something like, if I'm going on this show, you guys are promoting my work?
No,
her
she's not
agent
big
might
enough
have
to
worked
do
it
that.
in. That's like, hey, you can pay her $5,000 less, but you're gonna play her.
She's not.
Is she that big?
Yeah,
Like, how big is she?
her songs aren't like not listened to.
This is Turkey, though, right?
No, it's Romania, but well,
Still, Romania is smaller than Turkey. Turkey's like 80 million people, isn't it? Or no, not that.
no,
many. It's like
Romania
30.
is small.
How many people live in Turkey? Guess.
A
Everyone
lot.
guess. This is going to be more entertaining the episode. I'm going to say 30 million.
I'm gonna say 26 million.
Rob.
Oh God, like 80 million.
Yeah, it's 82. We've talked
Oh
about
my
this
gosh.
before.
Okay.
There's someone listening right now that was like, you guys did this before.
I'm sure. Hey guys, there's not a whole lot to talk about here, so we got to talk about something. I'm sorry. Like, what
So-
do you do?
Then there was the whole conversation. They had like multiple points where her and Huey had narratives, right? Or they had dialogue.
It's
shown
just
on
them
the show.
fighting.
All right, let's talk about the mission. So this is like a 1 out of 10, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
This isn't even a 1 out of 10. This is like, I want to change the channel, but I have to record, so I'm watching it. Like, that's how I hate to be so negative, everybody. I really do.
Yeah, like
I love
that's
this
the thing.
franchise, and I want to say good things.
I think what we should do for our Sunday Patreon show this week is we need to identify one person who liked this episode and discuss it with them.
And then
like,
try to convince us of why it's good.
Yeah,
because they're
show
not
us the
going
light
to win.
here. Because I
That's
mean,
not
like,
a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. If reach us out to us on Patreon, if you are like, if you love this episode and you're thinking to yourself right now, what are these guys talking about? This was incredible. Reach out to us on Patreon, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So we've
just,
got
before we go any further, I just want to finish this thought. I'm sitting here. I mean, I've said good things about this season. I thought there were some really good episodes at the beginning of this season. I thought the first 1 and 2 were good. 3 was not great. 4 was good. Last week was.
Yeah.
This week made me want to rewatch Final Reckoning. Like, I don't know what they're thinking.
Dude,
Like, I
there's
literally cannot wrap my head.
They have a testing department, right, that watches these episodes.
I don't know. Rob.
Somebody
Like, I
has to
think
be.
you might
Somebody's
getting
giving
too
them the
much-
green light on
So,
it.
Rob-
Like, if somebody's
Rob,
doing it.
Rob, even if that department exists, you're assuming that they're good at this, right? And that they're looking for the right things, and that this isn't just some like CYA move, so that when it flops, the people in charge of the show can say, "We went to testing. We showed this to testing. Testing loved this."
But what I'm saying is, like, somebody, they can be good or bad at their job. I would indicate that they're bad if considering this episode did get the green light. But like, somebody's there.
I am also wondering, and this is me floating a conspiracy theory, because why not? We don't have anything else to talk about. What if, because of what has happened in the world in the last couple years, awareness of certain issues, awareness of a lot of different things, they are purposely toning down some of the more hookup culture that's on the show, toning down all these other things.
I really don't
always
think that's what it is,
hookup
because this episode was all about that. Because you
Kind-
have,
but not really. It wasn't.
It's a different kind. It is a very.
It
Different
was a
kind.
wholesome version of what the challenge.
But
hookup
there's the
culture
Kaycee,
is.
the Nany stuff again. It's just very weird. And then you have like it just is like it was very like choreographed, and it's like. Are they going for like the bachelor party types or the bachelorette party? Like, remember on Free Agents when Nany has the bachelorette party? Is that what they were going for?
But that was funny. and
Well, I know, but like you
entertaining.
don't know
was
something's
boring.
not funny until it happens, right?
They took the person with the most boring personality on the show in Kaycee and took her on a date. Like, what the heck, man?
But so
Dude,
we
like-
have the other thing with this episode we should talk about, which I think is the Josh and Esther random like what that, like who saw that coming? Well, like that was
But we
actually
knew that. We knew that.
That
from
was the other
Instagram
funny part
Live,
of the show.
right?
I don't recall that specifically.
Or that I don't know if she said it explicitly on there, but I think that came out around it. That when they talked about how Josh hooked up with someone in the bathroom, someone later confirmed that it was Esther. But I mean,
that was interesting though. At least there's the two of them who have been somewhat at odds that are
really
in a relationship.
like. I mean,
But
it was something.
It produced the second funniest moment in the episode when the producers asked what she sees in Josh, and she's like, "I don't know."
Are we all in agreement on what the fuck? And I just want to say this quick: we do not want to beat a dead horse on this stuff, but they're not helping us out, right? Like because even before we got on, I just messaged in Discord, and I was like, I'm not a face on thinking that this is like, barring this, like without the last 5 or 6 minutes, this is one of the worst episodes ever. And I got confirmation. Because I just wanted to make sure that like I wasn't like that I saw the same thing that everyone else saw.
Yeah,
we are all in agreement on what the funniest moment of the episode was because I actually laughed out loud at this.
I had one that I thought was pretty funny and ironic, but it definitely won't be what you guys think.
Okay, Trace, do you know what I'm thinking of?
I don't know. I'm trying to block this episode from my memory already.
So it was in the last 6 minutes, and it was when everyone's like, "Go get Josh! Go get Josh! Go get Josh!"
That was funny.
And
Devin's like, "No, he's in my alliance. Don't go get Josh."
It's not that. It's when Amber and Fessy are talking with each other, and they're the ones in the frame, and you can kind of see Josh coming like out in the distance, and he kind of like appears like in the frame, and he
the savior
even has
of the
like
episode.
he has like enough self-awareness to like he like sees what's going on, and he like starts to like smile because he realizes that like he's just gonna go in there and shake it up. Right, like he's gonna go in there and just like start to cause chaos.
And it's not for Corey and Tori really producing this episode. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and the other funny part I thought you were gonna say was in the middle of the fight, like they're trying to separate Amber and Fessy, and someone hands a pizza.
Oh yeah, I saw that was hilarious too.
And then Nelson's in the background eating pizza, just.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for
another
that last
pizza
6 minutes, man.
After the Marie and Brad one from Vendettas, I thought it was really funny just that. Amber's whole thing with her, like she's complaining, and then Big T has a confessional where she's like yawning about how boring the whole thing is, and I'm like, you guys are airing somebody from the show talking about how boring what you're airing is. Like, how is this like selling your product?
It was the one thing that I thought was interesting is like I don't know. I think we've heard it before, but we really, and I don't know if we heard it on the show or if we heard it from like something
Amanda's
off.
Instagram,
or something like that. But, like, we really got, like, beat over the head this episode with how fake Amber B is. Like, that's the perception that
we got a lot of that in the reunion last season. Like, when Gabby was talking about it, when all of those people who were in her alliance were talking about it.
I mean, I can see their point to a degree, but, like, I'm sitting here, my sister's in town, and we're watching this episode together, and she's like, is it weird that I agree with Josh and Amber here? Because, like, Fessy did blindside her last year, or she misunderstood her place in the alliance. And then he blindsided her and Josh when Josh asked him not to. Like, Amber kind of has a point this episode, at least.
So the thing was, I think the argument was that she knew. And that she, like, they know she knows, and that she's just doing this for the camera.
I
and,
really
like,
don't
she's
think
just
she
trying to do
did.
this for attention. I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I have no clue.
Who knows for sure outside of her. But I really don't. I don't see because like they never told her. They told Josh, but I don't think Josh ever told her because I think Josh was spending his whole time trying to defuse the situation.
Stop him from doing it, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think she knew. I don't see why, like, where that would have come from. Because she and Kaycee had the conversation that episode, too, about how she's, like, confirming her place.
Well, we didn't know when that happened. You know what I mean? That could have been at any point in time.
I suppose. It could have been at any time.
But I think the part that's interesting, though, is that Esther is emphatic that she knew. To the point where she screams and throws a drink on her.
You know, and on the after show, she's again emphatic that she knew. And they actually, for some reason, they didn't They had
What happened
they had Esther, Amber, and Kaycee there. I was surprised Devin didn't ask Kaycee if she thought Amber knew or not, because I thought Kaycee would have been a good third party in that situation. But we didn't really get a resolution on it at that point.
Because
Casey tries to be Switzerland in all of these situations. She never picks a side in this.
It all came from the pizza too. Remember, because they kind of like started with the pizza as like a metaphor for the whole situation. That Fessy knows that Amber B knows that Fessy didn't take her pizza because Fessy saw Amber B see that he put his own pizza in the oven, right?
I suppose.
Why are we talking about this? My God, I'm sorry. Like, I just can't believe we're talking about this.
We've talked about pizza fights before. That's not.
I know, but this is the most exciting part of the episode, and this is what we're talking about. I'm sorry.
I thought the pizza looked pretty good.
I mean, the pizza is always a big deal at the challenge house because usually their catering's trash.
Has it gotten better?
It's probably gotten better. It is weird to me too, though, that they really shouldn't even trying to make Amber happen this episode. Like they have this thing where the girls are talking about her and flaming her, and then you have the other stuff where she's like in this huge confrontation with Fessy. But they didn't cast her on the season initially. Like they didn't think she was a good character.
Do you think about it? Like, think about how close this was to like not even happening. She wasn't on the season.
She wasn't casted, and she was clearly very willing to go. She was an alternate.
We need to get a hold of someone from production and just sit them down and like have a come to Jesus moment.
I don't think they want to have that conversation with us.
I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what are you doing?
I think
this is the question that I have. How can the company that produced the Challenge All-Stars not 6 months ago? No, it's about a year ago. About a year ago now. How can the same company with the same producers, if you look at the credits, they're almost all the same.
Are they the same?
Yeah, almost all of them are the same. How is it you can produce this show and then produce this show that is supposed to be the same concept with similar cast members at times, and you get this? Like, is it an episode order thing? Like, is MTV going, it must be 19 episodes? So they're like, well, we don't want to do 19 episodes, but we want the paycheck for 19 episodes. So this is what you get for 19 episodes.
There's definitely some of that going on. I do think like I can see where other people have parts of this episode they do enjoy. Like if somebody likes, just because like we all come from a very sort of sports mindset.
Rob, you're reaching right now.
Okay, let me.
I don't come from a sports mindset with this show though, at all.
Well, we all are avid sports fans though, right? Sure, I got to this show through really liking sports, and then noticing this was a physical competition show, and then the political side of it I found interesting as well. That's more of sort of where I come into it.
And see,
if somebody comes from the Teen Mom OG bracket, and that's how they find the challenge. I could see parts of this episode. I could see them finding appealing because people watch Hallmark movies. People find these things appealing. I could see
my grandmother.
People.
But my grandmother's not watching the challenge.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, there could be people who find that part of it appealing. There could be people who find the Emmy storyline where she's got the emotional sort of coming of age stuff. Like, people still watch Full House reruns. These things happen.
That's not their, like, diehard audience, though. They're alienating us, Rob. They alienated you. How did you feel betrayed?
Oh, the name of the episode is Aliens. Maybe that's what they were going for.
They literally have the hardcore fan base of this show in America is probably 500,000 people, which makes up now almost 3/4 of their viewership. And you're gonna piss them off with this crap? Like, really?
Rob, what does Pat think of what's going on? Like, have you talked to him about this season yet?
Not that much. He's been busy.
I'm gonna text him.
Do you think he's watched all of them?
Oh yeah, he's watched all of them for sure.
Here, I'm gonna text him because this is how exciting the show is. Like,
he's probably in bed. He's got 2 little kids. I mean,
he's texted me before at this time of night, so we'll find out.
Has anyone talked with Greg about what he thinks of this season?
I think most of the people that we would be talking to are probably out on it. Or out on this episode at least. Again, we've said that we've liked 3 of the episodes so far. We did
3 out of 6, and the other 3 have been fucking terrible. 2 of them have been like all-time bad episodes.
I wouldn't say all 3 were terrible.
No. 2 out of the 3. Two of the 3. One wasn't as bad as but 2 have been absolutely abysmal. So my thing is, it's a third of the way through the season. Yeah, we have how many? We have 13 more episodes. Right? There's 19 episodes this season. We're through 6
No, there
episodes.
is.
What are
Pat
they going to
Mayo's
show?
advice. Pat Mayo's advice to us is keep the show short. And I responded half as long.
I mean, I can see where some people come from a certain part of the fan base would like some elements of this episode, and maybe they just have a bigger voice in production now than they did before, or a bigger voice in the testing part of it.
I'm just putting this out there again. They just need to put us in charge of the show. Like, bottom line, like, give us one shot. Like I guarantee, we can do better than this. Guarantee that I know we can. I know.
I mean, I think we should move on from at this point. What if so we all think Fessy's going home, right? Like we not just think like what are the chances he's going home? 95%,
99%. I think the real question is does a combo of him and Esther go home? Does a combo of him and Josh go home? Like,
so what?
I think there's a very strong possibility that either Fessy and Esther, because Esther threw the drink, or Josh for instigating. But to me, you don't send
I think it's
Josh
just going to
home.
be Fessy.
I think I'd guarantee Fessy's going home though. That's a reality.
Haven't they sent people home in the past? I feel like I don't remember who it was, but I feel like I remember one incident where they sent someone home for being part of a confrontation like that, where there was no physical contact, but there was
Tony and Camillo. That was
Tony and Camillo, but that was different. Like
they were warned after one confrontation.
They had been warned, and they weren't physical, but they were as close as you're going to get. That was
Tony had cornered her and was like standing over her.
Yeah,
like
that was a very different confrontation.
Yeah,
like it was bad.
It could have gotten really bad really fast. As tequila.
Yeah, so I don't think Josh. I don't think he's getting sent home. I really think it's just going to be Fessy. Do we think? So if Fessy goes,
Rob, what would you put? What would you put the betting odds at 2 people going home next episode?
Two of any. So Esther, Josh.
Yeah.
Like when he's okay. So being DQ'd and not eliminated.
Correct.
Like 30%, maybe less.
I'll go a little higher.
I'd say 30 is a good number.
So we've got that. So do we think Emmy and Huey might get a stay of execution here? What do we think happens there?
I think they just do an elimination anyway.
Both of them go?
And they'll get creative down the road.
But both of them go?
No, I think it's just Emmy probably. I think
Huey might. I think it could be
Huey might get a stay of execution, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think because Emmy really is one who really got the storylines this episode. It wasn't Huey.
Yeah, because they're doing some sort of elimination next episode. They already teased us in the trailer that we're getting an elimination here. So
yeah,
and I mean Emmy has to go home after
that edit.
This episode, right?
She's either winning the show or going home. It's one of the two.
Yeah, she's either really coming out as victor this next episode.
I have a hard time buying she's going to win a final, so my hunch is she's going.
Yeah,
she doesn't seem like she's that bad.
She's not that bad, but there's better people.
How old is she? Is she like super young?
I don't know if she's that young.
We should probably have this in our research somewhere.
Well, I'm sure.
I think she's pretty young from what I remember. What's her last?
Mid to late 20s, maybe.
She's 22.
Okay, so she's low 20s. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought she was like super. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else haven't we talked about that we need to talk about?
I guess the mission itself, if we just want to even mention this, like
we talked about it a little bit. It's just hard to talk about these missions. I mean, there's just like
it's the same problem. It's the same problem we've talked about. Is that for the cast, this was probably a ton of fun. As a viewer, it's like,
dude. So like, this is some of like the forced statements that come out of these people's mouths. This is a dream come true. This is incredible.
How many vodka and Red
They have to be like giving them bonuses based on how many compliments they give the mission setup, right? Like Tori's getting an extra like $5,000 in her paycheck for really pumping up the mission this week or something.
Berna literally said that this is a dream come true.
They could have been cut from anything though. Maybe her making out with Nelson was her dream come true.
It could have been her looking at CT's junk in the closet. You never know.
Dude, all right, so let's talk about this now. Because this is about the point where he gets his first confessional. what's going on with Nelson, dude? Like, what happened? Like, do they not like Nelson anymore?
I don't see where you're coming from this as much.
I just don't think he's doing
Dude,
anything.
he was like almost like completely like how much was he in last week's episode? 3 confessionals?
He had 4 confessions, but Devin, like only 3 people had over 4 last week. That's not.
No, you said last week that he had 3.
He had 4 last week. I can
Okay,
pull
so
it
he
up
had
on my
4.
Excel chart right now.
And then he had 2 this week. Like he's like barely.
I really think you're stretching. Corey, I can see where you're coming from.
No, Corey had way more content this week. Like
Yeah,
Corey
he was
like,
around.
Okay, I think you're way out of left field with this Nelson stuff. I just think he had a lot of stuff early in the season, and now they're giving him a break.
I think that's exactly what they're doing. Like it was kind of like how on Total Madness, Kyle was invisible until the D re-edits, and then all of a sudden Kyle's one of the main characters.
Yeah, like he was literally like not in the season. Like,
and even Kyle's story from Total Madness wasn't awesome. And I think it's just a situation of Nelson and Ashley's conflict is over. There's nothing to talk about for a while. That's it.
It's really a shame they couldn't stoke those fires a bit more, right?
You would hope so. As bad as this
Yeah,
episode
like
was,
you can't have Burner
it.
like throwing some extra digs at Ashley's way, and then they get into a fight. Like,
Why isn't a producer handing Ashley some vodkas and going, "Why don't you go start some shit? Go."
She'd probably do it.
She would.
I think a lot of it.
Get Amanda into some evil plotting.
Yeah.
How much of this do you think that there's like no stress on the veterans right now, and that they're pretty much on?
That's a lot of it. I mean, all of the fulcrum of conflict has been this Big Brother alliance, which is
because we pretty much heard from people. So Kyle on the Johnny Bananas show said that it was pretty much like they were on spring break. They were on vacation. Yeah, this entire for this first part of the season.
And even these rookies, I mean, they just are putting up no fight at this point. Like Jeremiah's like, yeah, I'll go in. I'll probably
not sweating it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Whatever, man.
And that's the thing, though, right? Because people always complain when the rookies complain about going in, but it is also like much better to see them squirm a little bit before they
try something.
Yeah, like have them try to find some way to get out of it.
Like if I'm on the show and I know that I'm going in, I'm doing something, right? Like I'm not going down just like.
I mean, it's easy to say that, but you aren't like with 30 crazy people for 2.5 weeks. Like
I'm trying something.
I would hope people would try something.
Pull a Dustin and at least try to claim somebody, and he's going to go street bitch or something. Like
yeah, exactly.
Like I'm like going to everyone and telling them that like they're gunning for them. Like I'm telling them that like they
just need more schemers, I guess. Like people who are like willing to. The thing is, they got rid of them though, because like I feel like if like Kellis was in this spot, like Kellis is like into Josh's face when Josh is coming.
Dude, they would almost benefit from trying to do a little bit of what Survivor has done with trying to find like people that are like really hardcore fans and know the game really well, and like trying casting a couple of people like that on the show. You know what I mean?
I think they've gotten some of those. It's definitely not been ubiquitous though.
Yeah, you know what this is reminding me of? It's funny you mentioned Survivor. I feel like the Survivor season we're on right now is back like when Survivor went through the model phase. You know what I'm saying? Like where they were casting some of the worst people, the Mactor phase.
I totally agree.
This is where we are right now in the challenge.
Because no one knows how to play the game. Like no one's putting up a fight.
There's 5 people that know what's going on.
I really think it's been one of the situations where the veterans are just kind of again playing a little bit too well, and they filtered out the people who did know what they were doing, and then they're gone. Like I think Corey knew what he was.
Well, then show us that. Like, didn't show us that more is my thing.
Well, they did, and then now they're gone. This
is what happens when they get this many rookies on a season, right? Like I thought this was a fucking terrible idea when we saw the cast. Like pretty much the only hope that I had for this cast was after the first episode, and it's pretty much just been almost completely downhill from there.
So I would say that. So if we look back at other seasons that have been half rookies, we've had 4 seasons that basically have been.
This has been more than half rookies, though.
Well, okay, whatever. But so Fresh Meat won more than half rookies because you've got the Austin people.
In all of those other seasons, it was pretty much forced that you had to be a rookie with a non-rookie, right?
I know that's a big distinction,
dude. Honestly, I wonder how much better this season would have been if they just one simple adjustment and made it so that you could not pick, if you're the team in power, any 2 people to go into elimination, and that you were forced to pick a team. That would have made this season
it would have made it
a million times better.
And I'm with that one. I really think it was just one of those things. They said, "Why don't we try this instead?" And they just didn't think about the ramifications of it. And they also just didn't think that the veterans are going to be this tight.
I'll be the first to admit, but the start of the season when that twist was there, I thought it was a brilliant idea. I thought it was a great thing. Now that we're a few episodes in, I was very wrong. This was not a good idea.
I knew it would make the game a lot easier for the veterans. I don't know if it would make it like this, though.
I just don't think anybody thought that those veterans would work together that long.
Yeah, I really think the main issue with these from Dirty 30 to now. From Dirty 30 to now, there's been 2 seasons I really liked. I really liked War of the Worlds 1. I really liked, and 33 I liked as well. Other people may be different with that. The one thing with those is they're just not predictable. All the rest of these seasons, we just know what's going to happen as soon as the episode starts.
Yeah.
And then there's episodes where we don't, and the episodes we don't are actually good. Like the beginning of War of the Worlds 2, like the time, at the end of last season when you've got like Fessy trying to throw himself in. A couple of episodes, the episode this season where Amber did get put in, which we thought was a good episode because we didn't really see that coming yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the beginning of the season before the Veterans Alliance really sort of took hold. It's just like we just can't know who's gonna get in. There has to be some way for these people on the bottom to fight their way out of it, or there can't be people on the bottom. It's a bit more open.
Is there anything else we want to talk about in this episode? Like, I'm not trying to like cut people off here, but it's just like I don't know what else to say without reiterating things we've either already talked about tonight or the stuff we talk about all the time, and I just don't want to be redundant.
I mean, we could probably talk about some of the bullshit that other podcasts are going to stretch out longer. Like, you know what I mean? Like some people are probably going to talk about like Tori being the instigator of the fight, Corey like really trying to rile it up between Fessy and Amber B.
It was really the whole house was really involved there. I guess like, something's happening.
It came across like the house was so bored that they were just happy there was some action going on. Yeah. You know, that's how bad that it was. And so after last week, I think I made the comment and then a few other podcasts made the comment too. So yeah, I'll claim it, y'all. I'm sorry. I thought it was the calm before the storm of the veteran thing falling apart. And maybe it still is, but we didn't get that this week.
We got another week before the hurricane hits, at least.
Maybe. And I still think that we're not really going to get a hurricane. If Fessy goes home, it's going to be Emmy versus another rookie female in a hall brawl, and that's the end of it.
Because there was at least still some potential, right? That they would like throw in Fessy every time, right? That he would be the low man on the totem pole, and he's strong enough to like hang around for a while, and he's good enough to be able to fight, right? Like it's not going to happen now.
It's gone.
Him getting launched early is the worst case scenario here.
Because it's just hard for me to go back and think through like, I think this is going to be a good season, and it's like, if it is still a good season, these last like 7 episodes are going to have to be like amazing.
We still got 13, man.
I know, and I'm just like, we still have 13 more weeks of this. And I'm scared
it's just another thing too. Like the pacing of the season did not need to slow down, at all. Like I could see this happening if we really get to a point, like maybe Nelson and Corey have an altercation, and then they're getting into it. Like, and we have the Veterans Alliance actually breaking down. Okay, then cliffhanger.
Stretch that out a little bit.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. This is just not the place to do it because regardless of how this Fessy Josh confrontation plays out, are any of us buying that if Fessy goes like Kaycee's now on the chopping block or something for the vets? No, like this just not going to happen.
Kaycee just puts all her eggs in the Josh basket now because she doesn't have to pick between him and Fessy. Like, that's an easy fix.
What's crazy about this is there's still going to be a rookie pair coming out of next week, too. Because think about it. So, Emmy is going to go in against... Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Esther goes in. Because Esther's not...
Kaycee's
if Fessy's gone, she's a woman without a country.
Fessy's gone. So, let's say it's Esther...
You guarantee then that's a
first Emmy, right?
Yeah.
So, one of them wins. So, a rookie will be available. They are going to pick a veteran, and unless they're smart enough, which I don't think they are, to pick someone from a veteran pair, they will be picking someone from a rookie veteran pair, picking the veteran, and then that rookie that is left will then be Huey's partner, and Huey will be a partner with another rookie.
Huey's just getting short end of the stick again here.
We're just going to get 2 more weeks of the rookie slaughter. We're just putting off this.
What we need to have happen, we just need Emmy to go in against Esther. Esther wins, and she's got the brains to realize being with Fessy was good for me. We need another, maybe with a vet and to have. The thing is, it's just part of the problem is just these rookies have no loyalty to each other. That's really another issue.
Yeah. Well,
Because like we have seen other seasons where like the prospects came into World of Worlds 1, and when it breaks off in individuals, they were pretty like they wanted to stick out with each other. Like you'll see people saying they're calling out bets because they don't want to call out another prospect. We just haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, the only thing that gave me a little hope is that Huey basically said he threw the mission when he was talking to his partner in the kitchen. He's like, look, we need to go in because we don't need to be a rookie pair. If we're a rookie pair, we're just going to keep going in. Like, we need to split up. So, like, Huey threw the challenge on purpose. That's why he wasn't communicating. Like, at least he figured that out. But it also, once again, shows the weakness of making the dailies not matter unless you're the winner. Is if you're not going to win, what's your incentive to try?
Well, it doesn't even matter for the winner that much because it feels. I guess it matters for the winner, and that if there's a rookie winning, then they're
if
not
a rookie wins,
picked.
they're safe. I mean, that's really
that's
the
true.
advantage. And so and he knew they weren't going to win. So like he was basically telling her like, look, we got to split up. So I don't mind getting thrown in. I'll take my chances in elimination. It's fine.
Rob, was there anything revealing that came out of that podcast that you listened to with Tori and Anissa where they spoke with one of the showrunners?
There was some interesting stuff that the showrunner was talking about. I would actually recommend people would go listen to that. So some of the background with how the missions were just set up generally. More specific to this season, I did think it was interesting that the person who was supposed to be the showrunner got pregnant right before the season started to air. Then this guy got promoted to being part of it. He's been kind of on and off the show, it seems, from talking about it. Another thing I thought was funny was that he was complaining that the people in the house don't call what we call missions challenges, and I'm like, for me, I just don't call it a challenge because then it's confusing to say somebody like
what do they call it?
A challenge on the challenge.
Yeah, it's like somebody won. Oh, this guy won 3 challenges. Oh, so he won 3 seasons? No, he won 3 like of the little stuff throughout the season. If you wanted somebody the challenge, if it's named the challenge should either be nothing or it should be like the thing that wins you the thing at the end. It shouldn't be like the little.
What does he want people to call it?
Challenge.
And what do people call it?
Dailies or missions usually. He says that when the road rules came on, they just kept calling it missions, and he got mad at them. And now they're back to calling it missions
because they're doing a missions theme, an agent theme. I will say,
well, I always called it missions because Kara on Vendettas had this like trivia thing she did, and she called it missions. And I would assume production told her to call it that, so that's what I always went with.
Yeah. I will say one funny part too is Emmanuel's outfit that he had in the confessionals, where he had that giant piece of jewelry. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
My sister was like, "What is he wearing?"
They
I was like,
more
"He's
of
European."
that too.
I really just think he's like a vampire. He thinks he's Dracula.
If we were to give out, let's say we're not running the show, but we've got like $50,000 to give as incentives for the cast. Like we can like set this up as like if the cast does X, then they get this as a reward. What are we trying to get the cast to do more of?
Give a fuck.
Okay, well, how do we? Okay, we can't objectively measure that.
I think you can just by looking at their performances in the missions. Like these vets ain't trying right now.
Yeah, because like $50,000 isn't enough to do like anything.
I'm just making up a number: $500,000.
Yeah, and I mean maybe that's part of what would make a difference, right? Some combination of you just need to make incentives to not be last and make incentives for people to like do well in the missions, right? So if you do some type of reward for winning the mission, and you also put some type of incentive that we've talked about before and people on Discord have talked about, and we've given them credit before, either the last or some number of the last place teams are the ones that have to go into elimination. I think you need to do it. Yeah.
And see, here's my question, and I mean this with all sincerity. If you're a producer of this show and you're on location and you're seeing how this thing's playing out, why not change the rules halfway through the season?
Yeah,
why not change the rules? Like, why not? Who cares? They've done twists before.
Well, they did that on All Stars. Remember, they threw a curveball with the format because they switched it from the single eliminations to double once they wanted to bring up the pacing a little bit.
Yeah, why not? Why not mess with their heads a little bit and change the format? Make it more interesting. It's your show. As long as the rules are explicitly stated when they're changed, it's not against game show laws. Just change it.
But Rob, you don't think that they had planned to do that during All Stars anyway? They were just going to have like.
I'm not sure they did.
I think they did. Like, because what are they going to do? Have over 3/4 of the people be around for the final?
I mean, they almost did.
And they definitely would have if they wouldn't have like done the double eliminations. I think that they knew that they were going to do that. But yeah, I agree. I think that's what you have to. If you're in charge of the show, you have to stay nimble here, right? If you see something's not working, just don't write it into the ground. Fix it.
Mm-mm. You can get viewers back if you have a bad episode. If you have 4 bad episodes in a row, you lose your casual viewers. And out of 19 episodes, you cannot afford to have more than 1 bad episode in a row.
So, do we have any idea on? There's still a lot of like if the veterans want to just like ride this thing off into the sunset, there's still quite a few rookies that they can like trim the fat with before they start going after each other.
And the issue is, maybe it gets a little bit more interesting. It does seem like some vets are kind of emerging as sort of the bottom of the totem pole here too, though, I would say. And with the House vote being the one where that decides if the vets go in, it's still not going to matter that much who wins the mission unless if it's that vet team that's going to be targeted. Because it seems like Big T, there hasn't been much recognition that she's clawed her way out of being at the bottom. Yeah. Maybe once like a CT starts to get towards the bottom, then things can get a little bit interesting.
You know what my hope is? This is my true hope. I hope that after this season, because they've pushed back the filming of the next season of the challenge for several different reasons. But we just found out on Instagram, Wes is out of the challenge for the foreseeable future. And I actually believe him. So you don't have Wes coming back. Johnny seems like unless you make him a really attractive offer, he ain't coming back.
I think he's got less of a chance to come back than Wes does by a decent amount.
And I mean, you've got to get some more people that know how to play this game back on the show, because when you have this many rookies who don't know what they're doing and don't know how to play the game, this is what you're going to get moving forward.
I think you need some more like producer types. So we've seen some people this season get involved with it a little bit. Like part of the thing that Johnny and Wes talk about a lot is they see themselves as a producer as much as a cast member. They're just trying to like make stuff happen.
And so, like, I know we talk about this. Like, you've got some of these people from All Stars who had a good All Star season. You can't. I mean, as much as I cannot believe I'm saying this, bring back a Big Easy. Bring back a Brandon Nelson. Bring these people back because at least they know how to play the game.
I'd rather have Easy on this season than a lot of people on this season.
Seriously,
like not even close.
You know, yes, when we interviewed him, said he's open to coming to the main challenge. And he, even though he was kind of boring on All Stars, it would be interesting to see him in this environment because when he played the game the first time, the show was nothing like this. So at least it's someone who knows what's going on, and he's going to have to adapt to a more cutthroat game.
He's also like up to stuff too. Like I think
but he did say he was interested. He said, "I just need to make me an offer." So, you know, they need more veterans back, and they need to figure out how to pay them. That's what this boils down to. Whether they need to shorten the filming schedule and speed things up, but still have the same number of episodes to make some of these veterans come back. They need to offer them the right cash incentive. And you still have rookies. You still need rookies because the show has to keep going. Like, you can't go back to the well for a whole lot longer because, I mean, no offense, as much as I love CT, watching 50-year-old CT on this show is not going to cut it. You know what I mean? He's got maybe...
I think Devin would speak differently. Devin wants the entire show to be people like having Werther's originally eating contests.
But it's a situation where, you know, like, I'm not saying someone has a mandatory retirement age, but there's got to be a point where a CT goes, you know what, I've had a really good run, and yeah, they keep inviting me, but I'm 47. I don't want to do this anymore. My kid's in middle school. I'm done.
The thing with CT, though, it's not that he's old. It's he's not entertaining anymore. He's not the character that he used to be.
I thought he wasn't bad last season when he was forced into conflict. I think that's really the key with him is you need to have a situation where he's forced into...
I mean, this game is...
doing stuff.
This format is perfect for him because his game is to stay as under the radar as possible. Well, this format is ensuring that he's staying under the radar for a long time.
It's just going to be... I still think the back half of this season, there could be some explosive stuff happening. It's just going to take us a while to get there. This was definitely not the move. Like, the pacing should not have slowed down at this point. We should be trying to roll through this part of the season as quickly as we can.
Get through this rookie slaughter.
Yeah.
Just get through this and let's get to the meat of the bone. Because if the veterans are going to start arguing and fighting amongst each other, you're right. Stretch that out because at least you know what the conflict and the backstory is. Ah, gosh.
What if you just go out there? I'm thinking about like, and I don't even know if I think this is a good idea, but like if you see that this is going on, like why don't you just say fuck it? Like you have to now pick a team. You can't pick any two people, right?
Well, we talked about that. Yeah, you
I know. Like if you're the producer, just go out there and change the rule. You can't do it, right? You go out there and you're like,
they change it. It's crazy too because they change 1,000 other things on the spot. They don't tell them half the rules.
Yeah, like you can go out there now and be like, all right, everyone's changing partners. Drop your buffs. We're picking out of a hat.
Why not?
Just
There's
do
so
something.
many things they could do. And so, like, again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. I've been watching this franchise now for 24 years. Okay. Literally been watching since 1998, this franchise. So
That's as old as me.
23 years. Okay. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to quit watching the show, A, because we do this podcast, but B, because I really do love the franchise and I want to see it live on. But the state it's in right now is just, God, it hurts me to see something I love so much be this bad right now.
My projection would be, I think this is a divot that we're going to hit. I think next week's episode might, frankly, not be that much better, just because it's another hour-long episode, and it's just going to be...
History has shown us the hour-long episodes lately are not good.
Yeah.
Rob,
They don't have an hour. It's not like we have a bundle of content. Let's put it all in an hour. Like, that's not what's happening.
Rob, you're not stoked to see Esther versus Emmy and Holbrook? Like, you're not, like, psyched for this matchup?
I mean, we don't know what it's going to be.
I mean, that's...
Rob,
maybe there could be some bark.
That's what's going to happen. Like, that's the most likely scenario of what's going to happen.
It's her
like,
or Berna, probably, right?
Yeah.
Seems like Berna's kind of on the
Priscilla.
outs, too. Priscilla hasn't come up at all yet.
She stayed the most under the radar of all the rookies.
Because
Jeremiah, had done nothing up until this episode when he talked.
And him hooking up with Amber's not helping his case right now.
Yeah. Well, why isn't that getting more spotlight? Amber's getting all this attention now, apparently.
I don't know.
They're too busy showing Kaycee and Nany.
Anyway. All right. I think we're close here. So before we wrap up, I just want everybody to see my shirt off my back shirt came in. Get yours on BigDubDiesel.com. It turned out amazing. I love it. It's comfy. For those of you that get the joke of this Inferno 2 mission, it's perfect. I mean, I really do like this. So I'm wearing it, not just to promote it. I really like this shirt. So
we do need to do a power rankings, Devin. We skipped it last week. We should do it this week. We should.
Well, I guess I can predict one thing. I think Fessy's dropping out of everybody's power rankings.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to talk about.
Okay, let's do power rankings.
I just don't. It's just one of those, like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't. Like, I legitimately don't.
But we have money on it, though.
Yeah, we
do. What do we do?
We have money, I'm saying, on the outcome of this season.
Wait, for what?
Well, we have all these bets, don't we?
Yeah, but not on the power rankings.
Well, I know, but it's an embodiment of what we've
Here, we skipped it last week. Let's do power rankings and let's take this home. Let's take it home. We'll go quick. I'll go really fast because this is really simple, okay? Number one, for the men, I am now going to go back to my horse and go CT 1. Nelson 2, Kyle 3. For the females, I'm going to go Amanda, Kaycee, Tori.
No, overall.
And then overall, I still feel great about Amanda, then CT, and then I'm starting to feel much, much better about Nelson. So Amanda, CT, Nelson.
Robert?
All right, I'll go Nelson 1, Devin 2. I'll go Emmanuel 3. We'll throw a rookie in the mix as if he slides by. And then for the woman, I'll go Tori 1. I'll go Nany 2, Amanda 3. And then I'll go Nelson 1, Tori 2, Devin 3.
Nelson, Tori, Devin?
Yeah.
All right. For the women, I'm going to go Amanda, Tori, Nany.
No Kaycee, wow.
For the men, I'll go Nelson. No, that wouldn't make any sense if I had Nelson, Devin, Fessy. Who did you have? You have Nelson, Devin, Emmanuel. It doesn't really seem like Nelson, from some of the other podcasts that I've heard, it doesn't seem like Nelson is really part of... That's kind of one thing that came out of the Kyle podcast that he did with Johnny, is it really seems like Kyle, Devin, and CT are a group, and that's something that we really haven't seen on air. We've seen the relationship
I
between.
don't see. I have a hard time buying.
Rob, move back up into the screen.
Sorry,
You're so far back we can't see you. There you go.
We can't see or hear you.
This is a visual show.
I just have a hard time buying CT with that group. Like I don't see there being a lot of loyalty there. And I think Kyle thinks he's in with Devin, but I think Devin's loyalties are going to be with who Devin thinks he could win.
So the only reason that I say CT is more of like around how he's been edited the last few episodes. He still is getting like another like very favorable, excuse me, another really favorable edit. My only issue is that like it's like so tough to win 2 of these in a row in this era, especially when it's like, you know what I mean? It is like that's like
he like when was the time he got a negative edit recently?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like they always kind of have been portraying him as this lovable Papa Bear figure because that's just what the audience wants to see him as. I have a hard time buying him as a villain at this point.
It's hard to believe that of the last few seasons, he's won 2. You know, like he's probably the most successful person on the show since Dirty 30 or since Invasion for sure.
All right, I'll go Nelson, Devin, Kyle, Amanda, Tori, Nelson overall. All right. Anything else?
Dear God, no.
I don't think so. No.
Rob, tell everyone about what you're doing this weekend.
I do not have any plans this weekend at the moment.
I want everyone to congratulate Bob for starting his first job out of college this week. So, if everyone wants to,
we'll say first job that's paying it like a full time out of college graduate rate.
First real job. So everyone, round of applause for Rob.
Congrats.
And
I'm going to Cancun.
Yeah, he's got the fun weekend planned.
The beach, the sunshine, the food, the sleep.
Are you coming in as a mercenary on All Stars too? And they haven't finished filming yet?
You never know, man. Champs versus fans. No, I'm literally gonna go and enjoy time with my wife. The first time the 2 of us have gone away by ourselves in about 3 years, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a nice weekend. No work. I'm literally taking my cell phone and putting it in the safe in the room, and I will only look at it a couple times a day to check on my daughter. And other than that, man, I'm gone. I've told work, I don't care if the building's on fire. I'll deal with it Monday.
All right. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll talk to you again soon. Have a good night.